What's up, athletes? Welcome back to week 8 for Foundations of Leadership. Today we're talking about how leaders take ownership for their failures. Over the last few weeks we've been talking a lot about failure and about looking at it in a new way. How failure is not something that defines you, but a better way of looking at it is that it's just a temporary spot for you to figure out what does work. Last week we talked about how breaking free of the fear of failure enables you to change the limits on what you and what others think is possible or impossible. Today I want to talk to you about the next thing that breaking free from the fear of failure allows you to do. And it's something that all great leaders do. This is something that distinguishes so-so leaders or people that want to be leaders from truly great leaders. And it's taking ownership for the failures of your team. Have you ever had a friend, someone you thought who was a friend, that you got caught doing something you shouldn't have been doing with? And the first thing that they do is they blame you for all of it? You never look at that person the same way again, and you certainly know you can't trust them. Well, it's the same way now when you're leading your sports teams, or when you're leading a team at work, either now or in the future when you're leading your families. In order to be a person that people trust and who people want to follow, you have to be willing to jump in front of the blame when things go wrong. You are the leader. You are supposed to be paying more attention to the details than the others. You're supposed to be able to see possible problems that might arise before they come up. You won't always be great at this, and you'll never be perfect at it, but it's something that you grow into. And that's why it's so important to know ahead of time that when you do fail, that when you do make these mistakes, you own up to it right away. You might be thinking, dang, why is this guy talking about failure so much? It's like 3 weeks in a row that we've been talking about failure. And the reason we're talking about failure so much is because that we're human. We're going to fail at some point, and it's not a big deal. But what matters isn't that we failed, it's how we respond to it. As a leader, you set the tone for your team. A team takes on the characteristics and the personality of its leader. So do you want to be a part of a team that when something goes wrong, everybody starts pointing the fingers at everybody else and blaming others for what happened? Of course you don't, because a team like that will never grow and get better. If you take the blame and you own up to what happened when things go wrong, your teammates will start to do the same thing. To tell you the truth, unfortunately, this isn't all that common. But when you are a part of a group or a team where everybody owns up to their mistakes and then commits to getting better and fixing those mistakes in the future and then actually follows up on it, that's a rare but a beautiful thing that you're a part of. So don't sit around and wait for somebody else on your team to start doing this. Don't sit around hoping that somebody would bring this culture into your team. You be the one that leads by setting this as culture in your team. You be the one who starts the trend of owning up to their mistakes on the team. And when it comes down to an issue where it could be your fault or could be somebody else's fault, jump in front of the blame. Own it. Take responsibility for what you could have done better in that situation and admit that you were at fault and commit to fixing it and then fix it. Some of you guys or ladies watching this, you're not the fastest on your team. You're not the strongest on your team. You're not the high scorer. I mean, some of your teams are really big, and even if they're not big, only one of you can be the high scorer on your team. Only one of you can be the fastest. Only one of you can be the strongest. So you have this desire to be a leader, but you don't know how to be a leader. You don't know where you can lead. Right here, this is a great place to start. For a great example of this, there's going to be a clip right down there in the description of this video by Jocko Willink. He's a Navy SEAL. He's got a video called Extreme Ownership. Check it out.